Go.
Ready? Oh, there we go. We've started. Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen, welcome councillors to this evening's planning committee meeting at the Barn Green Room at the DCC. It's 7:30 on the 28th of January 2026. Item 1 on the agenda is apologies. To receive any apologies for absence.
Councillor Boland.
Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is declarations of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Do we have any declarations of interest from councillors? No. Okay. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on the 7th of January 2026 for all those that were present. It was just Councillor Lewington that wasn't present. So for the other councillors that were, are you happy to approve? Yep. Show of hands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is Planning Committee Project Report. To receive and review the project report from the committee clerk.
No
updates on that. So straight on to the next item, which is item 5, public participation. The meeting will recess for not more than 15 minutes to allow any member of the public to address the meeting in respect of items for tonight's agenda. Lucy?
The Parish Council, via this committee, comments and makes recommendations on planning applications affecting the parish. Proceedings during the public session, which will only exceed 15 minutes in exceptional circumstances, must remain under the control of the chairman, to whom all questions and comments on applications or other planning matters must be addressed. All comments on planning applications should be made to the Head of Planning Management at Winchester City Council.
Thank you, Lucy. We have a few members of the public this evening. Oh, full house. Would any of you like to speak? If so, could you just state your name and what it refers to if it's an application?
Yes,
it's great.
Ken Goodall. I've received, or collectively myself and my neighbours have received notice that a planning application has gone in for Green Lane.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to state, and I'll be concise for 15 minutes, that I've rejected, I've raised my comments as have my neighbours. I think it fundamentally it's a development that's saturating a single property, or previous single property with 6 now. I don't think it considers correctly local standards and policies for planning, specifically overlooking. I think my property is personally going to be massively affected. You've got an additional 2-storey building with large open bay windows facing directly into my amenities. So the patio where my children play, my garden is going to be completely overlooked. The tree preservation order that's in place, whilst protecting some trees, there's a lot of dead trees in there, and they've stated within part of the application they're going to remove them and they're not replacing, so they're not making any concessions for screening and for overlooking. One could argue that their reviews of the local wildlife have been selective. They've stated that there's no badgers and specific nesting birds, when my neighbours and I can attest that they are in the area. So doing a badger survey in the middle of winter is quite selective, one could argue. And there's also the issue of parking. I think they've probably done below the bare minimum in terms of the amount of parking they provide. It's on a single track lane. It's going to saturate the area, and it's either going to force additional parking, visitors, anything else that comes for that thing onto the cul-de-sac in Frenchy, which is already saturated with additional cars, or they're going to be parking on grass verges and effectively blocking the whole of Green Lane for access for emergency vehicles and anything else affecting it. So I think it needs to be looked at rigorously, because I think fundamentally there's a lot of issues with this application.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak this evening?
Well, yes.
Just have your name.
Liz Mitchell.
Thank you.
And I live in parking spaces, you know, 4-bedroom houses could have, you know, parents and grown-up children. It could be four cars per house. Possibly not, but there could be. And there's nowhere to put them. I think that's a huge thing. And the rookeries have been there for absolutely masses of years. And so they should be protected. Obviously the dead trees will have to come down. But it actually just seems a huge amount on a not, you know, like it's just been said, it's one house coming down and 6, you know, going up.
Sure.
Will you be commenting on this? I have been online to look at the things and there isn't any comment.
We will. So just in a moment later on in the agenda, the applications come up, and that is council's opportunity to voice their views, concerns, and we go into discussion. And thereafter, whatever our comments will be, we submit to Winchester.
Nested already, I heard them tonight.
They-
See all the nesting, and there's 2 massive trees there full of books. Yeah. And there's loads of badgers.
I've seen the survey, so yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Anything further? No? Anyone else?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your,
accessibility there, isn't it? And
Yeah.
parking is a major thing.
yeah. Thank you for your comments. Would you like to say no? Okay, if that's it for the public session, I will close that. Thank you, Ruthie. Okay, and now item 6 is planning applications. To consider and make comment on the planning applications received from Winchester City Council and any other authority in respect of applications pertaining to the parish of Denmead, as set out in the list of planning applications to be considered. So, let's have a look. Your one's actually number 2, so there's one in front of you, but just
Chair, can
Yeah,
we move
Tony.
number 2 to number 1 like we normally do by vote? And that way it saves them sitting through everything.
if council wish to, but I think number 1 might be. I'll be happy. Yeah, if you're happy to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's just a thought,
Yeah.
what we normally do.
So application 1 is a T1, London Plain. The request is to reduce the crown of the tree by 40% to get the tree back into shape and under control and reduce the large amount of branches overhanging my garden. The tree, not my garden, this is the applicant's, this is the wording. The tree currently covers 3 gardens causing regular issues, namely health issues, continuous cough during leaf season due to the make of the tree, leaf seeds and loose branches that fall irregularly. The work will be undertaken by qualified arborist with all associated health and safety regulations applied. And this is 34 Ashling Park Road, Denmead, and this is for the tree. So let me has councillors all had a chance to have a look at this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I went out this evening, took some photographs. So let's see if we can open them up. So we go, there's 34 Ashling Park Road. And that's from the front street view. This is a side view. So this is me walking into KGV Field along the car park. So this is now looking into the garden from the rear from KGV. There's our fence just here. So as you can see, it's in the centre of this person's garden. It does slightly overhang each side. It is relatively quite large, well established. Let's go back one more. There we go. Because there's a lot, 40% in my opinion is quite a large amount, and it might be detrimental to the tree's health considering its age. In my opinion, perhaps a lesser reduction of 20% would be more beneficial, but I'm not willing to make that decision. So opening up to debate, of course, but my view is that we send it to Winchester's tree specialist to make their recommendation rather than Councillor Ranger than Councillor Berry.
Yeah, I was going to echo that, Chair, in terms of, I think 40% is large. in terms of overall percentage, I mean, it is a pretty prominent tree when it's only in that location. Being past it many a time, 40% I think is too large. I think I would also recommend referring it to the tree officer for Winchester with the recommendation that if you can reduce it by less than 40%, then great.
Okay, Councillor Berry?
I've got to agree with my colleague here. Also, I can't see how a tree like that can cause cough during leaf season and stuff like that. You know, I'm a horticulturist by trade and that, so, you know, I can't see that happening and that. And looking at it, it actually, you know, it's a mature tree and we want to keep the trees in the village. So I say, and I agree, send it to the tree officer. Also, put in there that we strongly recommend it's not 40%.
You're quite right, Councillor Berry. As you can see, it's quite a large established tree, and considering that we've had a lot of trees cutting lately and some disappearing, trees like that I think we need to try and hold on to, so we refer it, so it might be worth... Sorry, Councillor?
Yeah, I mean, I had a look at the diagrams for this one and I was a bit confused as to who was applying and whose tree it was, because it seems to be in a different garden, I think, to the person making this application, and there were some other documents in there about previous damage that had been done to the house, that again...
That was the drainage, so I saw the drainage part to do with that.
Yeah. But it seemed to be several houses involved, so I was just a bit unclear who was applying to have the...
Yeah, I think that's where they stipulate that it covers it overhangs two other gardens, but it is in this one's main property, 34. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Chair. Looking at Google Maps, if we did an aerial view of that, I don't think it's an inappropriate request because you can barely see any garden from the top of the thing. Whether it's 40%, I don't think it's up for debate for us to decide that, but yeah, I don't think it's an unreasonable request.
Okay, that's fine. Any further debate, or shall we go to a proposal?
I propose that we send it to the tree officer saying that we think 40% is too much and we would say about 20% at most.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that proposal?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Yeah. Councillor Ranger, can I have a show of hands, all in favour of Councillor Berry's proposal? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Okay, application 2 is the erection of 4 non-4 bedroom houses and 2 2-bedroom flats with associated access, car parking and landscaping, and this is land west of Green Lane. We have a comment first to read out, so if I can just ask the clerk of the committee to do that for me.
This application relates to a development immediately adjacent to my property. I strongly object to this proposal on the grounds that it represents clear overdevelopment of a small triangular plot in a semi-rural location. The proposal consists of 4-bedroom houses and 2-bedroom flats, which is excessive for the size, shape and setting of the site. The intensity of development fails to reflect the constraints of the plot and the character of the surrounding area. I'm particularly concerned about the wholly inadequate parking provision. The plans show parking for only 2 small vehicles per 4-bedroom property. In reality, households of this size commonly own more than 2 vehicles, and there is no provision for visitor parking or the frequent online deliveries that are now commonplace. The situation for the flats is even more problematic. No on-site parking is provided directly adjacent to the flats due to the restricted size of the plot. Instead, a separate area some distance away is being designated for only 4 small vehicles. This is insufficient for modern vehicle sizes, including 4x4s, work vans or residents with more than 1 vehicle. There is also no provision whatsoever for visitors. As a result, it is inevitable that overspill parking will occur on the surrounding roads, verges and particularly on Green Lane, which is extremely narrow and short. The lane is not wide enough for vehicles to pass safely, and additionally parking here would cause nuisance, obstruction and potential safety issues. Public transport in this area is very limited, operating only 5 days a week and at 2-hour intervals. Car ownership is therefore essential, and the parking strategy completely fails to reflect this reality. For many years, my garden and home have enjoyed a good level of privacy, and this has never been an issue. The proposed development would introduce new dwellings with windows overlooking my property and garden, resulting in significant loss of privacy and harm to residential amenity. This impact has been adequately addressed or mitigated within the application. I am also deeply concerned about the loss of mature trees on the site. These trees provide nesting habitat for a significant number of crows and other bird species, as well as wilder wildlife. The site is also regularly visited by foxes and badgers. While I note that a badger survey has been submitted, it was commissioned by the applicant and nevertheless acknowledges that badgers have been seen and photographed on the site. Removal of this habitat will have a clear negative impact on local wildlife. In summary, this proposal represents overdevelopment of a constrained site in a semi-rural location with inadequate parking, poor access considerations, unacceptable harm to local wildlife, and a significant loss of privacy and residential amenity. For those reasons, I strongly object to this application.
Lovely. So here is the map. I'm sure you know where the location is. If you head back towards the village, past Glassbowl on your way there, you'll find Green Lane. Got the meadows just over here to the left, Finchley's to the right, and here we are in the middle with their proposed plan. Right, I'll open it up to councillors. Councillor Berry.
I've got concerns because of, they're going to have HGV lorries going up there, 8-leggers, 6-leggers. Then when you look at it and when they build, you're not going to get a dust cat body up there and stuff like that. The emergency services are going to have a problem with it as well, especially the HP and stuff like that. And also they're not complying with Winchester when it says about the number of parking spaces per house. So there are big concerns, and that lane, you cannot get a car and a lorry past each other. It's going to be accidents, and I think it's an overdevelopment, and I think I'm not happy with it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Berry. Councillor Harrison, you had your hand up there.
Yeah, I think I agree with members of the public, to be honest. In my mind, that's completely overdeveloped. You're looking at 3-storey, 4-bedroom houses there. I don't think there's any 3-storey houses in that facility. And like Councillor Berry just said, it doesn't comply with Winchester parking space policy. And the fact that those parking spaces for the flats are the other side of the plot and you've got to walk across what is the entrance exit of that just seems inappropriate to me. So I personally want to make a strong objection to it.
Okay. Any other councillor input?
Sure.
Councillor Ranger?
Probably echo everything that has already been said, actually, Chair, but just a couple of other points. The documentation that was on the Winchester website is slightly contradictory because in some references they reference 3-bedroom houses, and on the application it references 4. That's one of the points. Second point, with regards to the parking, we've already covered what Councillor Berry has in terms of the below minimum allocation for a 4-bedroom property, or just 2 small spaces per property. There are some 3-storey properties almost opposite on the new development, but there's very few of those, and I think these 3 stories would be out of keep in terms of the immediate location. There's also on the map a community area, I note, and a wildlife area. And I would be concerned as to who maintains that and who keeps that, because that wasn't clear. And I also think the street scene is something to take into consideration. Whilst I'm in favour of the area to be tidied up, I'm not in favour, personally, of the volume of properties, the type of properties, squeezed into an original one properties plot that now potentially represents 4 lots of 4 and 2 lots of 2. So I would yeah, I would not support this application.
Thank you, Councillor Ranger. For the shared open spaces and wildlife area, because it is shared, I think it would be down to their maintenance landowner. It's not something that will come under us. If that's what you were worried,
Yeah,
it
it
wouldn't
wasn't
fall
clear
under
on the
us.
application
No.
who's going to take ownership.
No. Any other input from other councillors? No. So yeah, looked through the highways report, and everyone, as we've already mentioned already, about it goes against the Winchester parking standard, shortfall resulting in possible overspilling, the visibility from access locations, of which they said there will be 2 additional access locations, the impact on the wildlife, street impact, overlooking, and as you've already said, and other councillors, it is overdeveloped. Just a few points that I sketched down as well. So, if that's discussions over, can I have a proposal? I know where to go.
Well,
Councillor Ranger.
I propose a strong objection on the grounds of, which are the list.
What we've already said, but just summarise just a few. I think Lucy's scribbling like mad.
A strong objection with regards to the objections based on overdevelopment of the plot, overlooking of the nearby neighbours' properties, of which we've heard some of which this evening, the street scene, the parking, and the accessibility, the below the Winchester guideline or the highway guidelines in terms of the physical parking spaces per property.
Okay.
And what else have I got down there? The fact is that Green Lane for single track, and you've got things like refuse vehicles and you've got emergency vehicles. It's bad enough trying to pass there now, so I think accessibility would be a key reason as well.
Ecological wildlife, did you say?
Sorry?
Ecological and wildlife, did you
Well,
say?
There's an ambiguity in terms of whether the Badger survey or the other wildlife surveys are true and accurate.
Yep.
I would suggest that perhaps they weren't, and as a result they probably need to be redone. So yeah, based on that information, I think everything needs to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it definitely goes against our plan for the area. It's very outkeeping.
Absolutely.
Anything further, or was that?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
I second it, and I would like it to go to committee as well.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, if we can have that go to committee.
So can I just clarify
Yes.
that the proposal is for a strong objection due to overdevelopment, privacy, the street scene, parking, accessibility, and possibly to redo the wildlife surveys.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was seconded by Councillor Berry.
Yep.
Can I have a show of hands all in favour of that proposal, please? And that was unanimous. Thank you. Just to let committee know that when it does go to Winchester Committee, we might put a shout out for councillors for possibility dates for you to attend. So is that all right, Lucy, if we can circulate? That would be good. So that's fine. There we go. All done. That's all right, no problem. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest, but that section's over with now, so you can go if you wish to. Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to application 3. Thanks very much. All right. Cheers. Thanks. Bye. Application 3 is the erection of a garden room outbuilding to the rear garden of 43 Hatchmore Road, Denmead. Let me just see if I can bring this one up. I didn't have them downloaded earlier.
While you're bringing that up.
Yes, please, Councillor Ranger. Yeah.
I had a look on the plans here, and there are other properties in Hatchmore Road that have had similar garden room buildings, from what I can see from Google, as well as I haven't actually physically visited the site area, but certainly other properties in that road have had similar rooms built. I don't have any particular other observations other than there's precedents have already been set.
Just going to bring that to just load it up now. So I have one in particular, which was this one here. Let's have a look. It's quite slow in the building, isn't it? Really slow. Whilst that loads, here we go. So that's that one there. And if I click on proposed plans, elevation. So yeah, I made a few points on this. There's no privacy issues. There's no windows to the rear. It's just black cladding, pitched roof, possibly seen from the garden. Whilst that loads, I took this one here. So where my mouse is there is where it's going to go. So it'll be backed up against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're tall enough to see over this wall, yeah, you might just see it. You may see the pitch. I'm sure you probably will. But other than that, with what's going on around here, you're quite right. I don't think it will have an impact. Yes, Councillor Harrison.
What boundaries around it?
Just loading up. Just loading up. The internet's not really. Still loading. Oh, so that's what it's going to look like. So this is.
Kind of looks like a TARDIS.
It does, doesn't it? That's quite.
It's very photoshopped into place.
Okay, that's what it's going to look like.
Looks like someone's going to use it as an office.
That was the report, just telling you the size, 3 metres, 3.5. Site comprises a mid terrace. Yeah, you've read all that, I hope. Let me just see if I can get a location plan. Here we go, Councillor Harrison. So this is Hatchmore. You know where the Hatchmore is, up near the pub?
Yeah.
On the corner here. Here we go. Here's your.
No, I'm looking for the one that shows the outhouse with the measurements around it.
Oh, that one.
I think it's probably in that block.
Proposed site plan, I think.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, I'm not an expert in this, but
Go ahead.
I'm sure I read that if the structure is above 2.5 metres, and I think that was 3 metres, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That had a 2 metre boundary around it from the boundaries of the other gardens.
That's news to me.
I think you're right. Actually, there
If
is
it was under 2 metres, then it's fine, but
Yeah?
if it's over 2 metres, then
there is a
it's a pernickety point, but
Yeah.
if we vote
It's a
for it,
valid
I think we're going against council's policies.
Chair, I think
Yes. Councillor
Councillor
Ranger.
Harrison's got a point. I think, whilst it may be relatively small in terms of size point, but I think it is relevant on the basis that rules are rules, right? I mean, we didn't set those rules, we have to abide by them and fix. I do think it's worth checking, because I didn't know whether or not it was because there was no windows or anything, or whether there was just a peak of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the roof, on the basis of the previous diagram, the drawing, was good on that basis. But to Councillor Harrison's point, if it is over 2.5, it does need to be double checked, because if it is, then it needs to go back with an objection.
Okay. Fine.
So we probably need to clarify that before.
Yeah, but we still have to make a comment this evening. Otherwise, do we object, or so? I should imagine
But based on that, we have to object.
we have to object. Yeah.
We
So
can't approve something that we're
No.
not sure about.
No.
So I'd make a proposal that based on lack of clarity on the submission and or the current rules for an a garden room, beg your pardon, not an outbuilding, a garden room, then we need to make sure that we are within the parameters of the height, width and distance from the neighbouring surrounding.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. We have a proposal. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay. Can I have a show of hands? All in favour? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Okay. Next one. Okay, application 4 is a single-storey rear extension with roof light and alterations to the front porch, including an addition of a pitch to roof. This is 36 Mill Road, Denmead. Just see if I can bring this up. Have you all seen the photos online? Do I need to bring them up?
Yeah.
You've all seen them? That's fine. In which case, in my opinion, it looks pretty good. I wouldn't. My opinion is straight out there. I'm happy for it to go ahead. The neighbours have already altered their properties. There's pitched roofs, exterior, and rear double height extensions next door. It's a flat roof extension with the roof lights not visible because the brickworks are going higher. So considering that there's a precedent set on both sides, at the front they've all got the pictures, and the back they've had an extension. I'm going to go straight in with a proposal that we have no objection to this application. That's straightforward. Yeah, Councillor Lewington seconds, so I'll have a show of hands, all in favour. That's unanimous, thank you. And then application 5 is the demolition of conservatory and erection of a single-storey rear extension, 114 Anmore Road, Denmead. Again, have you all had a chance to see the photos online? And you've all looked? Yeah, so I won't bother bringing it up if you've all seen them. Again, there's precedent set on both sides.
Yeah.
I went there this morning. It's already been demolished, but you've seen that from the photographs. So, I don't think we need to discuss it. Everyone's in the same mind. So, Councillor Berry proposed no objection.
Sorry, I just want to ask a question.
You may.
It's kind of relevant to the application, I think. But I noticed that it's labelled as PNHOU rather than HOU. What's the difference between the two?
Okay, let's have a look.
Good question.
Well, rather than take up time now, I'll Google it. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Yeah, so we've had a proposal from Councillor Berry, no objection. Can I have a seconder, please? I'm happy to do that. So all show of hands, all in favour? That's unanimous, thank you. That was the last of the applications. Right, back to the agenda, which is item 7, decisions received. To note, there have been no decisions received since the last meeting. Item 8 on the agenda is new planning applications. To receive and note new planning applications to receive. We've received 2 this time. Number 9 on the agenda is just to note proposals for a new care home at Green Meadows, Green Lane. Denmead. To note, an LNT Care Development Project team will be in touch with the parish clerk to arrange a meeting to discuss these plans. Item 10 on the agenda, social media, to discuss and determine action on what content could be added to the parish council's social media channels.
I see we put everything that we discussed onto it. No decisions.
Yep. The decisions are natural anyway, aren't they? We normally put decisions
What, in
up
the minutes or?
on social media.
We normally put the minutes.
Just minutes?
No, we don't put the minutes on social media. They go on the website.
Fine, okay.
Everything goes on the website rather than
But
Facebook.
what we discussed, I think we ought to let the people know, especially that one with the Green Lane.
Council's happy for that?
The minutes, yeah.
Thank you. Anything further or just that one?
No.
Just that one? Okay. Item 11 on the agenda is the matters for the next agenda. To receive any matters for the next agenda? No. Item 12, confidential report. To pass a resolution in accordance with Public Bodies Act 1960 to exclude the public and press for discussions relating to the following and receive the confidential report and enforcement report from the committee clerk. 1, enforcement issues and notices, and 2, tree preservation orders. Thank you, Councillor Berry.